Let's go.
Okay. It's going, so you can go whenever you want.
All right. Hey, guys.
That was it. We felt it.
How did you do that? That was impressive.
That's perfect timing.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, I didn't think it was going to go yet.
All
Okay.
right.
What a cocksucker.
Hey, guys, and welcome to episode 6 of the Up Real Late podcast. My name is Scott Ellis, and I'm joined here by my three friends. First, Tim McGavick.
I have nothing cool to say this week. Hey.
Nothing cool. Wow. You
Sorry,
usually have some good things
I feel
to
like
say.
my attitude reflects the movie we just saw.
Oh.
Okay. Also here, Tyler Switulski.
What Tim said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also rounding out the four, maybe I could say the Fantastic Four. No. Adam Freeney.
I think it's fantastic the four of us could all get together tonight for another episode.
Just fantastic.
Are we just going to do the one pun the whole time?
Yeah. just everything is fantastic. Not awesome.
No different than any other week, Tim.
Let's just run down a couple of the topics we're going to talk about today. First, as always, we're going to talk about the last movie that we saw before today. And we're also going to do a little review of a movie that came out this week that some of you may be familiar with. Not doing so fantastic in a variety of ways, but we'll get to it. Fantastic Four. And also, we're going to talk about, just segueing from that, we're going to talk about a movie project, superhero related, that we want to see rebooted. Ironically, maybe not. And we're also going to touch on one news story that came out this week. Pretty slow week for news, but Sony Pictures released their lineup of movies that are going to come out in the next couple of years. So we're going to discuss some movies that they have coming out. So let's start off with our last seen movie. Anyone want to start us off this week?
Tim's feeling it.
Tim is feeling it, guys.
I'm feeling it today. Okay.
What do you got, Tim? Last movie you saw?
Hit us, Timbit.
Last movie I saw, watched a couple days ago. It's been in my Netflix queue for a couple days because it literally just got released on Netflix. This is number 3 by a very new up-and-comer writer director that I'm loving all the movies I see by this guy. By J.C. Chandor.
Ooh.
Also wrote and directed Margin Call, which was a very fast-paced, talkative movie. He followed that up with All Is Lost, which was a few lines of dialogue with Robert Redford being the only character on screen.
Right.
He's followed that one up with A Most Violent Year. Came out last year, starring Oscar Isaac, Jessica Chastain, Albert Brooks, who is from Drive. He plays a very different character. He's like a funny, kind of nice guy in this one.
Also Finding Nemo.
And Finding Nemo voiced the dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
And David Aiello
Oh, man.
plays a DA character in it.
Oh, Yellow.
From Selma?
Oh, Yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
Guy who's not playing Black Panther.
Right, as we established
We went
last
over
week.
that last week.
So this movie takes place in 1981, New York, where a fuel supplier, Abel Morales, played by Oscar Isaac.
Oh, so you're doing A Most Violent Year.
Yes, A Most Violent Year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I mentioned that.
Oh, right.
Right? Okay.
Scott
So anyways,
wasn't listening.
so he tries to adhere to his own moral compass amid the rampant violence, corruption, and decay that threaten his family and his business. So essentially, he's a up-and-coming fuel supplier called Standard Oil and Fuel. So
Whoa.
Standard from Drive.
Ooh.
Crossover?
So basically, it's a
Perhaps?
sequel.
It's a sequel.
Uh-huh. So basically, he's trying to get his company, they're trying to purchase a new building to hold more fuel, and he's in competition with a bunch of other oil people, and they've all started doing corrupt things, and his tanker trucks keep getting robbed. He's trying to figure out who it is. His wife and Albert Brooks are trying to convince him that he also has to start doing more corruption to compete properly, and he's very much against doing this. So he's kind of taking the high road with all his colleagues. Very, very good movie. I loved it. I'm surprised it didn't get as much Oscar buzz as it did. I mean, when trailers were coming out, people were thinking this would be a big contender, and then it just kind of flew under the radar. Wasn't really nominated for anything, I don't think.
I'd like to see the release date. Did it come out in time?
It came out on time.
It was eligible, really?
Yeah, it was November or October of last year.
See, that's weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It just performances were great. Oscar Isaac again he just keeps hitting it
Kills
out of
it?
the park. He killed it again. I haven't seen him in a bad movie yet.
I'm excited for this movie, man.
Yeah.
You haven't seen A Most Violent Year?
No, I was hyped when I
Adam?
saw the trailers at the time that
You've
it
seen
was being
Margin Call,
promoted.
I think.
No, I haven't seen any
You've seen his
JC
stuff.
Shandor
Okay.
movies.
Well, you guys should check out his stuff. It's all fantastic so far.
I know, I will. Yeah, it flew under the radar, like you said, during Oscar season.
Yeah.
I was really excited for it because I love Oscar Isaac.
It wasn't his season.
No. Oh, not so aptly named Oscar Isaac. Yeah, it looked great, but now that I got the confirmation from Timmy,
Check it out.
I'm in.
There's a fantastic car / chase scene, like foot chase scene. That's really
Really?
well done. Yeah. Go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say, I have seen A Most Violent Year.
Oh, you've seen it?
Oh, snap.
And-
When are we going to bust that out, buddy?
Right now.
All right.
Okay.
It is really good.
Yeah.
The cinematography is great.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac is fantastic. For some reason, I just got this, like, Pacino, like, old school. Like,
Yeah, he has an old school Pacino in this.
Cousin Vito
Like,
told me
yeah,
that.
yeah.
He's a lot like Pacino in it.
Like, he actually physically looks like him.
He has
Yeah.
like a pompadour kind of going on, like
Yeah.
very high, black hair.
He's got the tan
He's
jacket and
tan,
everything, and yeah, Chastain was great. Like she played like his wife, obviously, but she had, like you said, she had like mob connections, like her family.
Her dad had been accused of being a mobster and stuff.
The movie
Minorly.
sounds great.
It's good. There's
And
a lot
so
to
she's
it.
like overbearing and like really
Yeah.
like pressuring him to like,
Yeah.
you want me to talk to my family? You want
Yeah.
me to talk to me? You want me to deal with it?
She calls
And,
him like a pussy and stuff for like not dealing with stuff like physically, and
Nice.
yeah,
it's good.
it was really good. I would definitely recommend it for sure.
I
I
know-
definitely think it's overlooked. I would agree.
Yeah, definitely
Oh.
overlooked from last year.
Yeah. I know she won, I think, multiple awards, at least one award for her performance. I think it was the SAG or Critics' Choice. Something. It obviously
For this
wasn't
movie,
the,
yeah.
It wasn't the Oscar.
I don't think she was
Right.
even nominated, right? I don't think.
I
it
don't
was up
believe
for
so. I can
anything.
check my memory bank real quick.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
So I'd give this movie probably a light 4 out of 5 for Timmy Boy.
Wow.
Light 4 out of 5.
I would agree with that.
Light 4 to 5 what, Tim?
Reels.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
All right. Anyone else want to jump in with their last scene? Tyler.
I'll jump in there now.
Excited to hear Tyler's.
What was the last movie you saw?
Knocked the movie off the list we gave him.
I did. I knocked another movie off of the very famous list of movies I have to see. Whiplash.
Oh,
Yes.
baby.
Yes. Amazing movie. I'll give you guys a
Not
little thank you.
my tempo.
Was I rushing or was I dragging? Whack! Rushing, dragging, whack! Loved it. I'll give you guys a little synopsis here.
Oh,
Miles
I knew
Teller
it.
plays an ambitious young jazz drummer in pursuit of rising to the top of his elite music conservatory. Terrence Flesher, played by J.K. Simmons, is an instructor known for his terrifying teaching methods. He discovers Andrew and transfers the aspiring drummer into the top jazz ensemble, forever changing the young man's life. But Andrew's passion to achieve perfection quickly spirals into obsession, and his ruthless teacher pushes him to the brink of his ability and his sanity.
Yes.
Probably the best way to describe that movie. Like
Yeah.
it was, it just blew
It's-
me out of the water.
It's like a thriller, like the pace of it.
It was
Right?
Like, especially right when it gets to the end. It's just like you feel like it's just so much build up.
Let's not talk about that ending.
No, we're not. We're not going to talk
But
about the
that's,
ending at
that's
all.
probably one of the best endings I've seen of all time.
We
Me
can tease
too.
it. We can tease it. It's a fantastic ending.
You
have to see it.
see this movie. J.K. Simmons, I know, did win an award for this.
Sure did. He won multiple awards.
the
for this.
Academy Award.
The Academy Award.
The most coveted.
But I loved his performance. I loved Miles Teller in this. I was very surprised that he did not win anything for this.
Wasn't even nominated.
No,
For
I
an
was
Oscar.
I was blown away by that.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I had heard the possible reasoning was it was so low budget, they only had the budget to really promote JK.
I can see that.
And so
He had a
they
better
They
chance
just
of
kind of
getting
picked the best out of the two, and they just were like, we're just going to push straight for JK.
they figured their chances were like they knew Miles wouldn't win had he been nominated, but JK was the front runner to win Best Supporting.
I can see that.
So they put all their eggs in the JK
yeah,
basket.
and well, it paid off.
But I thought Miles was deserving. Like, he blew me away in that movie.
I would say they were equally deserving.
Yeah.
After seeing
Yeah.
this movie, I would say they're definitely equally deserving.
He deserved a
win.
nomination at least.
At
I mean,
least, yeah.
I don't like. I'm not gonna say he deserved it over McConaughey. McConaughey was incredible in Dallas Buyers Club.
Yes.
I think, is that who won over Whiplash? Or was
Yeah.
it Eddie
Yeah.
Redmayne?
No,
It was Eddie Redmayne.
It was Eddie
Was?
Redmayne.
Dallas
No.
Buyers Club was 2 years ago.
Yeah, but that's when Whiplash was. Whiplash was 2013.
No, it was
No, it's
2014.
2014.
positive.
100%.
Because it was
Are you
Best
sure?
Picture
I
nomination
just read
with
it.
Birdman.
Yeah.
I was very surprised.
Scott's very perplexed right now for the listeners. He's got his head down.
Oh, McConaughey, that was 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So-
I was like, they're not the same year.
No.
No.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
I have to give this a medium 4 out of 5 reels.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I like to hear.
Whiplash loves...
Yeah, just amazing. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it.
5-reeler for Adam Franey,
Yeah.
folks.
Five.
Usually, I like you guys know me. I like the more intense action thriller packed movies that really grab you. This one here,
Yes, you do.
this is everyone knows this. But this movie it was different for me, and it was just it totally grabbed me. It was amazing.
Can we just high five?
Do we have high five right now? Adam, Scott, and Tim. Thank you.
Nice.
Great movie.
I'm
Cinematography was great too.
It was
looked,
beautiful.
It looked at it. It almost looked like a Fincher movie.
It
Yeah,
was
dark and...
Yeah, it was just
Like that
gorgeous.
jazz room where they practiced was just like...
It was a beautiful room.
it was dark.
The sound mixing was incredible. They
Won
won
an
the
Oscar for that.
Yep,
Best sound editing, I believe. Sound
Sound
mixing.
makes one of the two.
just perfect.
Can you tell we like it?
Yeah. Okay, I've been lying this entire time. Movie's complete shit.
Do you guys just want to review Whiplash for this instead
Yeah,
of doing
I'm
Fantastic
in.
Four?
I'm in.
You guys can go with that? Okay.
Well, I'm going to jump in, if you don't mind, Adam.
It's a bit
Scott,
unorthodox.
I'll go last. I don't care.
I'm going to
breaking
jump
the
in
circle here.
with the movie I last saw, which some of you might know, Gone Baby Gone,
Oh, damn.
directed by Ben Affleck, which I believe it was his first film that he directed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. My
yeah.
man.
Starring Casey Affleck, Michelle Monaghan, Morgan Freeman,
Oh.
Ed Harris, and Amy Ryan, who was, I believe, was nominated.
Oscar nominee for that.
Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Basically, it's a story. It was actually released in 2007 as well, so it's a couple years old now. But basically, it's the story of a private investigator played by Casey Affleck and his partner played by Michelle Monaghan, and they're hired by the family of a girl who goes missing. And basically, they're just trying to figure out what happened to her. It goes on a couple twists and turns, and overall, I really enjoy this movie, and it's hard to tell that it's actually impressive to tell that was his first movie for Ben Affleck. It really showed as him behind the camera directing, and it was great. It kept me guessing the whole time. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't read any reviews or I knew that it was well received, but I didn't read anything about the plot. I just went right into it, and it was great. Good cast overall. Everyone was great, and Casey Affleck. I haven't seen him in a whole lot, but I want to see more of him now.
If you want to see
I
more
really
of him,
like him.
check out the assassination of Jesse James
Right.
by the Carrie Report. He puts in a phenomenal performance in that.
There you go.
Wow.
Tim's favorite movie of all time.
Oh, dropping bombs on him,
And
Timmy.
it looked great too. Like, it was
As well shot, yeah.
well shot and well paced. Like I said, good performances. Have you guys seen Gone Baby
Yes.
I've seen it. I love it. It's like a 4-reeler for me. I love Casey Affleck now because of this movie. I've always been a Ben Affleck fan. Well,
Always.
maybe
Not always.
since this movie, I should say. I've been a huge Ben Affleck fan. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I loved it. Like you said, the plot kept me guessing. Like, there's so many twists and turns. You think you have it figured out, and then boom, you get flipped on your head.
Like, Morgan Freeman was great in a limited role, but very crucial.
Impactful. Yeah.
And
He played a bit of a different... Like, he didn't play his usual, like... Classic
Narrating.
old man. Like, he's like the one that knows everything and everyone comes
Yeah.
to him. He plays a kind of more of a different character, if I remember. I haven't seen this movie in years. Probably since 2007, actually.
Ed Harris, phenomenal in it.
Yeah,
I,
he's
Ed Harris
did
is
he,
always solid.
did he
Yeah.
win the Academy Award for this? I know he was nominated.
Was he up for this?
Yeah.
No, he definitely didn't win then. I don't
Okay,
think
he
he's-
didn't win?
No, I don't think so then.
Let me hit up the memory bank. Talk
Yeah, he was
amongst
great.
yourselves.
Michelle Monaghan, great as usual. I usually like her in anything I see. Yeah, the performance that stood out for me was just Casey Affleck.
Yeah.
Just great. I wish he would be in more like starring roles because I think
Me too.
he definitely has the potential. Yeah, imagine him as like Robin.
Robin, that'd be amazing.
Get two Afflecks.
That'd be
That I don't know.
phenomenal.
That would actually like he's an incredible actor. That could.
Imagine him.
He did.
Imagine him in the Robin suit. All right,
You're talking me out of it now. I think imagining him in the Robin suit.
Nightwing maybe.
I've got to say, I haven't seen Gone Baby Gone, but I've just written it down on my arm, and it's going to be added to the list.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not up for Gone Baby Gone. I just
Yeah.
remembered.
Never mind, scratch that.
Just pretend I never said anything, but he's great in it. He should have been up for it.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Affleck, he did Gone Baby Gone, followed that up with The Town, and then he also did Argo recently, and then now...
He's on fire.
Yeah,
Now,
he's just on a roll, really.
I saw The Town, loved it. I haven't yet seen Argo. What is it?
Argo's okay.
I heard a lot of
worth
mixed
seeing.
reviews.
It's worth watching.
seeing.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not his best. I
I'd
think.
say it's like a solid movie.
and he directed it, right?
Solid
Am I right?
film.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did like everything.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's on. I had it penciled on the list, but I wanted to get you guys' opinion on if I should.
It's a Best
yeah.
Picture winner. You should see it.
Okay, so I should
It's
go see
It's
it
a good
then.
movie.
I kind of want to see a
It's
movie
a bit overrated, probably.
that Ben Affleck
I heard that.
directs and he doesn't act in it. I'd be interested to see one
Have
where
you
like
seen Gone Baby Gone?
Yeah, you should probably
Oh,
check
shit,
out Gone
right.
Baby Gone.
It's really good.
I'm gonna edit this part out.
We've literally been talking about the movie
Yeah.
for like
I
5
totally
minutes
forgot.
now.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's not in that movie.
I would definitely give Gone Baby
Amazing.
Gone 4 out of 5 reels. I really enjoyed it through and through. Yeah, 4 out of 5 reels.
Me too.
On to you, Adam.
Oh,
What was the last movie you saw?
well, you guys saved the best looking for last as usual. Appreciate it.
You
Thank you.
tool.
It is too late. Let me just...
Searching through the memory banks,
As
he
usual.
usually does.
Aha! I've remembered. Last movie I saw, oldie but a goodie, came out when I was 1 year old.
Ooh,
1991.
1993.
All right,
How dare you?
1999? What? Wow.
you're 12.
Dr. Richard Kimball, unjustly accused of murdering his wife, must find the real killer while being the target of a nationwide manhunt.
Is it Death Race? What is this?
It is not Death Race.
Would you say he would be a fugitive, or...
I'm talking about The Fugitive,
Oh,
Scotty.
okay.
You pinged it, bud.
Okay.
Directed by Andrew Davis, written by Jeb Stewart and David Tuwohi, starring Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee Jones, Cella Ward, Julianne Moore, and Joe Pantoliano.
Ooh, nice.
Tommy Lee Jones, who won his Academy Award for this role.
Great performance.
This movie's been on my must-watch list for years. Just one of those things I never got around to doing. And popped up on Netflix, so I said, you know what? I'm strapping up my seatbelt. I'm taking this ride. And I liked it. No shock. I liked it a lot.
I don't care!
I don't care.
I don't care.
That was a quote, by the way, for the listeners.
Thank
from
you.
the
If
movie.
you haven't seen
Yeah.
The Future.
We're not just being rude to Adam.
Yeah.
I'm usually not that rude.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, massive Harrison Ford fan, so should come as no surprise that I love this movie. He's got that beard dough, if you will.
Oh yeah.
What a beard.
He's got some good facial
Never
hair.
seen him with facial hair in my life.
Yeah.
Um,
Looking good still, though. Looking good.
Yeah, the iconic bus escape scene was, like, incredible. Like, I loved it. When I guess I should mention, vague spoiler, sort of, it happens toward the beginning of the movie.
He becomes a fugitive, basically.
Yeah, obviously. He becomes a fugitive, and he's being transported on a bus full of convicts. Yeah. And it topples over after a scuffle, and they're on a train track. Train's coming. My boy Harry Ford has to escape. Whew, intense. Also, I put down here the tunnel chase scene
Oh, yeah.
in the sewer when
Classic.
that you guys
Yeah.
are referencing. Harrison Ford, like, this is why I love Harrison Ford. He's not The Rock. He's not like this like bodybuilder freak of nature.
He's struggling.
He he grabs hold of a pipe to swing off it and just eats shit.
He eats it. He
Just
eats
like,
it hard.
"Ah!" Just splashes into the sewer water. The whole time wearing like a dad sweater. Oh, it's great. I loved it.
That's what I think. That's what makes him so likable as Indiana Jones is the fact that he's
The humility.
he's not
Yeah.
like a superhero. He's a little vulnerable.
He shows he's an average guy. You
Yeah.
know, they don't make him out to be an amazing, iconic superhero.
Yeah,
Exactly. Some nice cameos. A little Lost connection. Dr. Arnst and Rose from Lost, both in
really?
this. Very random. Nice Jane Lynch cameo.
Oh,
Jay Lynch is in this. I haven't seen this movie in a very
If
long
there's
time.
any Glee fans listening,
This is a
you'll
movie for
be
you.
enjoyed to hear that.
You'll enjoy this cameo.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I saw this movie last year, actually.
She plays a forensic lab scientist that Harrison Ford goes to
right
when he's in one of his many disguises.
The one thing I loved about this movie, just to jump in here, is how he was had to MacGyver his way out of situations.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's kind of the highlight for me, was him figuring out how to stay on the run and keep one step ahead of Tommy Lee Jones's character. That was probably my highlight for me.
Great cat and mouse game going.
Yeah.
Great. It's like a great chase film.
Yeah.
It's constant. The pace is constantly up because of the chase. It's incredible.
For sure.
Now, tell me, Adam, are you going to watch the sequel?
What?
There's a sequel to this movie
Shut up. Shut the hell up. No,
called
there's not.
U.S. Marshals.
That's the sequel
That's
to The
sequel
Fugitive.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Robert
I haven't
Downey
seen
Jr.,
that, but I've
Wesley
heard
Snipes.
Yeah.
Is Harrison
Tell me.
Ford in it?
No, his character's done.
I've heard
One way
it's
or
like
another.
I've heard this movie, U.S. Marshals, is literally one of the worst sequels.
It's
ever.
the weirdest sequel. It has nothing to do. It's just another fugitive story.
What?
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes is accused of doing something. I forgot what it was, and he goes and
Probably
runs.
tax evasion.
And then Tyler's man, Robert Downey Jr., shows up. He plays an FBI agent who's also tracking this guy.
I'll check it out. Sounds great.
I loved it, but
You
I saw
love
it.
it?
I saw it when I was 10.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know
it's been
if
a while.
10-year-old
So-
Tim should be the litmus test for what I
I know
see.
that age doesn't quite work out because I'm 60, so this movie
Yeah.
didn't come out, but
That was a long
whatever.
time ago. Wow.
yeah.
He saw it a lot.
Time is not linear for Tim.
Yeah. Experience everything at once.
Overall, it definitely has some dated moments, like when he's the flashbacks to Harrison Ford wrestling with his wife's killer in slow motion, shaky cam. It's very 90s.
Yeah.
It's a bit melodramatic, but no, overall, I really, really enjoyed it. I'd give it a light 4 reels out of 5.
A lot of
Wow,
high
that's-
ratings today.
Very good
Yeah,
film.
a lot of solid films this
Yeah.
week that we saw.
Yeah. Well, thank God.
I think we needed that.
Segueing into another, the next section of our podcast,
I'll just get ready here.
reviewing the latest Fant4stic movie, also titled Fant4stic. That's just the way they wrote it.
Fan-titled Fant4stic.
Yeah, I don't know in what world where 4 equals an A, but whatever.
Actually, in Elite, it does
Hollywood.
actually. Yeah.
That's what world.
Kind of like Scree Forum. You guys remember the classic Scree Forum?
I do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
No.
Scream 4 for the.
Oh, okay.
For the
They
layman.
put the 4 in the A. They're
that's clever.
Yeah,
They were trying very hard.
they were cool. But yeah, Fantastic Four is the movie we're reviewing this week. Released on August 7th, 2015.
More like disappointing form, am I right?
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
Let's let him finish the introduction
Yeah.
before we give our thoughts.
Directed by Josh Trank, who also wrote it along with Jeremy Slater and Simon Kinberg. Starring Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, Jamie Bell,
Good cast.
Toby Kebbell, and Reg E. Cathy and Tim Blake Nelson round out the cast. Basically the story of 4 young outsiders who teleport to an alternate and dangerous universe which alters their physical form in shocking ways. Very shocking. The 4 must learn to harness their new abilities and work together to save the Earth from a former friend turned enemy.
Tim can't even make it through the synopsis.
It's
my God.
just... Yeah. So,
There's
let's
so much promise in that.
I know.
Set up.
I know. Let's start off. What did we like about this movie? What did you guys have anything that you enjoyed?
I'd like to jump in here with what I like the most.
Yeah.
It was.
Let's hear it, Tyler.
Are we gonna just dive right into this?
I think we should just give our general thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What I liked most about it. What's that?
Non-spoiler.
No spoilers, of course.
Yeah,
No spoilers.
of course.
I think my favorite part about this movie was that it was shorter than the first 2. I'd have to say that's probably my favorite part about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a positive for Tyler.
That's very positive. Yeah.
Anything that you guys enjoyed? I gotta say, the one thing that I liked. I mean, one of the many things I enjoyed about this movie was the Thing. The visually, how the Thing looked. I mean, there was some I'll get into later about things I didn't like, but with the CG. But overall, the Thing looked pretty good. a lot better than the Michael Chiklis version.
Well, that's
I
the
think.
thing, because it wasn't even CG when Michael Chiklis did it. It was literally just wearing
Just a big orange suit.
big bodysuit, right?
That's
so
the-
this actually looked like well done.
That's the thing.
Literally.
That's
Thank
the
you,
thing.
Adam.
Tim, anything that stuck out for you as
No. Nothing.
All right.
I mean,
wow.
I like the actors, and I think they did, at times, the best that they could do with it.
Okay.
But even at the end there, they were hammering that pretty hard. I just
Yeah.
hope this doesn't hurt any of their careers. Particularly Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan. The rest I don't really care about.
Kate Mara?
Yeah,
No.
sure.
I do want to say
me too.
some of the things I wrote down a couple things that I enjoyed, which I found a hard time to figure out what they were, but I thought about it, and I did like some of the action scenes earlier on.
There's
There's
action scenes earlier on. I remember one
I know.
action scene in this movie.
basically the only action scenes that were early on. Basically, there's a scene with Mr. Fant4stic in a forest. It's not really spoilery, but that scene I like
That
the action
CGI
in it.
forest.
I just wish there was more of it. I wish there was more of it. And seeing the thing in action was I like that.
Well, here's the problem with that was the only thing you saw about the thing in action was the fact that it was a small video clip off to the side and they weren't even focusing on it.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't even an actual video clip. It was just like a little thing off to the side.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Scott's been trying to be too nice right now.
I'm reaching.
We're just going to keep knocking you down.
I'm reaching. I did also like Reggie Cathy's performance as Franklin Storm as the father.
He was probably the best part of the movie, yeah.
I liked him. I think
He was
the
like the
other
main
actors-
character, I'd say. He was probably had the most screen time,
Yeah.
almost.
He had a lot of screen time.
Most of them.
Yep.
I think of all the performances, like there were certain points where their dialogue was just so awful that it felt like they were phoning it in a little bit.
Yeah.
There was dialogue.
But him as
I'm an adult. I can do what I want. Screams Johnny Storm.
seriously. But I felt like he actually gave a great performance as a father.
Yeah, he was solid.
As strange as that sounds, I thought there was actually a good performance in there. And I actually he was in House of Cards. If you guys ever saw House of Cards, he was the barbecue guy, and he was great in House of Cards. And I was pretty happy to see him in a big movie like this. I just wish it was something other than Fantastic Four.
Don't we all?
So let's just give our overall thoughts, I guess, how we felt about this movie. Do we have any negatives we want to mention before we get into the spoiler section?
No, let's just spoil the shit out of this thing.
Yeah, let's do our
Public
I'd say-
awareness.
Yeah.
All right.
I say we
1
should-
out of 5 reels for Tim for this movie.
Yeah.
Complete mess.
I'm gonna give it a low 0 reels. If we can
Jesus
I'm doing
Christ.
that. I
Like less than one.
less than 1 reels from
Okay.
T Switty over here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Adam, how did you feel about Fant4stic?
Well, my lovely colleague here, Scott, I feel you're being very PC and allow me to just make up for it. This movie's a piece of shit, to put it bluntly. And it doesn't, like, I felt so little walking out of this film. It doesn't deserve, like, a rating. Like, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it felt like it was made by computers. There was, like, zero emotion coming out of it, zero emotion put into it. It doesn't deserve a rating. If I have to, like, if I gave Ant-Man 2.5, I have to give this a 1 reel.
Fair
Out of
enough.
5.
I almost want to go to Switolski's level of negative, like less than 1 reel.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna, keep it consistent. I'm gonna keep it consistent with 1 out of 5 reels.
Yeah.
I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt for you viewers out there who maybe were excited about this movie.
God.
And maybe give you some positive points. But overall, this movie was just a train wreck. Call back to a couple episodes ago.
For our fans, this is the lowest rated movie we have done since we started doing this podcast.
I think it's the first time we've actually all as a podcast agreed on a movie like this.
Yeah.
That we
Just completely despised.
It's the lowest ratings we've given, right?
Yeah,
I've
for
never
sure.
given a 1 yet.
I've never given a 0 before.
I really give movies 1.
0.
Because I can usually pull something out of a movie that I like.
This is more of a public service announcement of
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
not to see. We're trying to save you guys the trouble.
Oh,
Although,
I mean-
I would say to the viewers out there, to watch this movie anyways,
You
just
have
to
to.
say that you did.
You have to go see it.
Just
I
to
say
that
see
you,
it.
Just
Form your opinion on it, and then
It's
you'll
like,
be on our level.
where were you when Fantastic Four came out? Like you'll tell your kids, I actually saw that thing.
morbid curiosity. That's what
It's,
it is.
Yes.
it's perfect. Like
You
3
have to.
a.m., you're on YouTube, you're looking up like car wrecks or something. This is a very similar thing, right? This is how
Yeah. This movie should be on Live Leak or something.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, seriously.
That's what I felt like when I was in the theater. Like, should I be watching this in public? This is
I don't want people seeing me watching this.
yeah.
So, with that, I think we'll move into the spoiler section of our review. So, fair warning for all you listeners out there, we are going to be talking about everything, beginning, middle, end, spoil everything for you guys. So, if you guys
Let's
don't
dive
want
in.
to listen
Let's
to
tear
the
this
spoilers, then you can skip ahead to the next section.
And by spoilers, we mean just shitty parts of the movie.
Yeah. So,
Just a heads up, the entire
without
movie.
ado, anyone want to start us off with some of the things they didn't like, or some
I'll start with one big one.
of the points you wanted to mention?
dive
So
in.
they get drunk, and that's how they get their powers. Is they get drunk and then drunkenly decide to switch on this super powerful device, which has no security. No one's watching this thing.
Yeah.
That's how they end up getting their powers. They
Okay,
get wasted.
here we
They're
go.
like, "Oh man, we should just do it now."
Let's dive in.
We should just go to another dimension.
Oh my god!
Arguably one of the most important machines or inventions ever created by human beings. And there is not a single camera pointed on it. No
And-
one's watching these.
And Miles Teller, Reed Richards, just brings along his friend.
Zero
He's
clearance.
just like, hey guys, I got my friend here, Ben Grimm. Yeah, he's with me.
He's with me.
He's with me. He's just
Yeah.
going to come into this super important,
Baxter building.
Yeah, like, what are you... I
Like,
mean,
every-
minor plot holes or something.
Every like facet has something wrong. Like they're like how about when Michael B. If we're pointing out plot holes and whatnot, Michael B. Jordan shows up where they're developing this teleportation device in a sling after being in a car wreck. Yeah, I can build anything, don't you know, or whatever. And then
Except the car engine.
yeah, apparently
Apparently,
he can
yeah.
build anything. His car breaks down. So problem number one. But the next scene,
Credibility lost right there.
Sling's gone. He's like chiseling away, like
Welding.
welding with two hands, like arms fine. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, did like Michael B. Jordan just hurt his arm while filming? They had to like write that in for like one scene. Like,
Oh god. I hope. Tim.
Oh, man.
I hope.
Basically.
this movie's all over the place.
How about... I got another plot hole here for you.
Hit
How
me.
about...
I'm sure there's a lot.
How about the fact that Mr. Fantastic, played by Miles Teller, has zero control over his ability?
Yeah.
And they don't reference that the entire movie until the end, like 15 minutes, when like you see Doctor Doom take away like the coils holding his arms together and shit.
He just flops
And then all of a sudden he's just like, "Oh, I can control it
He
now."
flops down like Leo D did in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes,
Just like, "Ugh."
Leo on Quaaludes.
yes.
Oh my god.
And so he's like, "Oh, I can control it now." I'm like, "Wait, you couldn't control it in the first place?" They didn't reference that at all.
So he's literally been wearing that suit for a year straight. Do you know how dank he must smell?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
I just want to mention one of the point in the movie where I don't know if I literally facepalmed, but I at least internally facepalmed, is when they get their powers, and this is basically right after they get their powers, it just cuts. 1 year later. What the hell? I want to see them learning to use their powers. I don't want to see it cut to 1 year later and see a stupid montage or some BS.
This movie had like narcolepsy pacing.
Like,
you're going,
what?
then blank out.
That should be one of the most important parts of the movie. And by the way, Josh Trank, director of this movie, did Chronicle, a movie about kids.
Literally.
A movie about kids who get superpowers, and it's about them learning how to use and harness their powers. That's what Chronicle is about.
Chronicle's a better Fantastic Four movie
Yeah.
than this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they basically skipped that entire section and cut to 1 year later, and then all of a sudden they're just using their powers. And I just really disliked that. I thought it was just abrupt, and it didn't work.
Yeah, I'm not blaming Josh Trank for this though. Because I think we just said Chronicle is a better Fantastic Four movie than this because Chronicle was an independent film.
Yeah.
He had no one to answer to. This movie, from the reports that have come out, he was bullied by Fox into last-minute changes and like that fits right in line with X-Men Origins Wolverine. The same reports came out that they bullied that guy. He was a first-time director, or like a new director, and like countless reports have come out about action sequences being removed at the last minute from the script and budget cuts. So they basically just screwed over Trank.
That was
allegedly.
That was one of the, you mentioned action, how they cut out action sequences. That was another one of the main things that I really had a problem with, which you guys probably agree. And I mentioned how I liked the action sequences in the middle and the beginning. I needed more of that. I needed more than that. This movie had little to no action. There's minus the final climax, maybe 2 quick shots. You know, there's that scene which I mentioned earlier with Reed Richards, and he uses his powers in cool ways.
But he's in front of like a CGI screen. Like they're not even filming in like a real forest for the most part.
I mean, besides that, but I think that
blew my mind. Like a green screen forest. You guys couldn't find a fucking forest? Are you kidding me?
I mean, it's not The Revenant. I mean, they're not filming in natural light or anything.
Yeah. But I will give them one thing. It's kind of, I'll explain. When he's gone for that year and they finally track him down, and so when he's going in and getting that part that he needs from that, I'm assuming it's some sort of hawk shop, he goes and gets the part, and he's driving away, and you see he actually, like, he was disguising himself, he was contorting his face to somebody else. That could have been good if they hadn't fucked it up so bad.
Yeah,
you literally went with the effects,
with the effects, with the CGI. Like you could tell that that what they were trying to do was a good idea, but the effects were so fucking terrible,
executed horribly.
Yeah, it was like you saw the one guy's face, and then like someone punched some Play-Doh, and then made that the face for like 10 seconds, and then went right down to Miles Teller.
Well, to go to your last viewed movie last week, Total Recall.
Yeah,
the practical effects, like face transformations and that's like 25 years old.
Yes,
you guys couldn't
update it and make it realistic.
Take some notes, you know.
Okay, Miles, if you're listening, why? Why, Miles? Why?
And I was saying, like, just the action. We needed more. It's supposed to be a big superhero action flick. No action. Just give me more action.
I didn't even necessarily need action sequences. Like, Trank.
Need it, but
Trank was billing this film as inspired by Cronenberg's The Fly. He wanted to do a hard sci-fi horror film. And it showed in the scene where they came back from the Zero Zone and they were mutilated. That was terrifying. I enjoyed that. To be fair, I have to be fair. I gave it 1 reel, so there was one thing I enjoyed. And then when it cuts to them being experimented on by the government, or just being checked out for what their powers are, I like the horror vibe of that also.
Yeah.
When Miles Teller's crawling through the vents.
Yeah, and like Johnny Flame like explodes and everything. Yeah. That was well done.
That was like scary. I was like, ooh, this is dark. And then like allegedly Trank, I know John Campea said he has sources that told him Trank was removed from the third act entirely, and Simon Kinberg was brought on to direct the third act.
The reshoot. Well, they reshot a bunch of scenes,
which explains the tonal shift.
Yeah,
like the movie.
That tone was good.
Well, the movie starts as like a buddy, like coming of age teen story, then goes into a horror movie halfway through, and then the third act is like, I don't even know what that is. Generic superhero fodder,
like TV superhero fodder.
Yeah. Oh, it felt like it looked like a TV sci-fi channel movie, like Phantom Menace green screen style.
Mike Winters, who's with us, described it as the last half as a Spy Kids movie.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just generic. I mean,
Spy Kids had some practical effects, probably.
The dialogue was horrible in the second half.
Oh, you didn't like the final line?
Oh, no. Just cringeworthy. Oh. Yeah. So many dialogue kind of just quotes from it were just so cringeworthy.
Fantastic.
And there was a couple scenes where you mentioned
What did you say?
You mentioned that one about Doom.
Yes.
I literally face-palmed and just laughed. It was supposed to be...
I just saw you do that.
It was supposed to be serious, that moment. And you're supposed to be it's supposed to be a shocking moment. I laughed. Not supposed to laugh during that moment, but I laughed. It was not supposed to be funny.
Tim, you want to wade in here?
One of the reasons I didn't like the first Captain America movie a whole lot is because they alluded to him being Captain America so many times before he finally became it. Like, he held up 3 things that were shields and stuff.
Yeah.
This movie alluded to them getting powers and alluded to future moments in the movie so many times that it was just ridiculous. Like, Johnny Storm has flames on his welding helmet, so he's clearly going to become Human Torch.
No.
And then Ben Grimm's brother, who's physically abusing Ben Grimm, says it's clobbering time just before he beats up his brother, and then Ben Grimm decides to adopt that as his go-to phrase.
Normally that would be a repressed memory.
Oh my god, this movie's just horrible all over the place.
I'd like to jump in here. One of the most important components of the Fantastic Four would be the love interest between Reed and Sue.
Yeah.
And I think that they flirted for the first 10 minminutes of the movie, and then zero love interest throughout the rest. They don't even see them talking.
The first 10 minutes they met.
Yeah, they flirted for a little bit.
Painfully awkwardly.
And then nothing. Add. But see, at least they did it. But then after that, I don't think they looked at each other the entire rest of the movie.
How about Johnny Storm and Sue Storm's relationship being brother and sister? That's a deep relationship. I think they have 2 lines together throughout the movie.
Yeah, they act like they're not brother-sister at all.
What the fuck?
You know, they've grown up each other their whole lives. You think to be more than just oh, hey, it's you.
And I mean, it was a big thing to cast Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm, or even have... if you just go, that way, and you just, get all black actors, you get, who was it? Reggie Cathy as the father, and then you get Michael B. Jordan. If you cast a black actress as Sue Storm, okay, but when you get a white actress, and then they don't even mention it, they mention it in one line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there could be more. Just the fact that she's adopted,
right?
So, if they had mentioned it that one time, I'm adopted, but then later on they'd kind of grown and seen, you see their relationship grow, cause they kind of reference that they don't get along very well, right?
Yeah.
And so, but if you had seen them if you'd seen them relationship grow, then it would have been, that one line would have been okay. But that brings us back to the point where there was zero character development at all in this entire movie.
Yeah.
Scott? That's exactly what I was going to say. The main problem with this movie, I think, is the fact that a lot of the decisions they made make no sense because there was no development in their characters.
Nothing happened,
and you don't understand the relationships. A lot of scenes are forced, and especially Dr. Doom, who we should mention. Why is he acting the way he is?
What happened in that year where he was gone? Yeah,
spoiler. I mean, they end up in this other dimension, and he gets stuck there for a year. He falls into this vat of green liquid, almost like the Joker or something, to Batman. And he turns into Dr. Doom.
Who has a glass face for some reason instead of metal. His face looks like his glass.
Well, I think that I didn't. A lot of people hated on his suit, and I thought it was cool how his suit basically melted to his face.
I was okay with that. I liked in the trailer. It just looks like it's a solid gray. I don't know if they added in all the glowing green to him in post.
Did, I think they did.
That made it look ridiculous. Just the solid gray would have been fine, but his glowing green eyes and his green veins and stuff just looked ridiculous.
But like I was saying, my main problem was you don't understand his motivation.
None.
Okay, he's anti-establishment kind of hacker guy in the beginning, but then all of a sudden he just wants to destroy the world and go back to a zero zone world. I just
back to isolation.
It just didn't make sense to me.
Did they reference his name being Von Doom?
Yeah,
at some point?
Yes,
they did.
They redubbed a scene. And I think they edited in a shot of his name being Victor Von Doom because originally they changed it to Victor Domashev. Nerds freaked the fuck out. Just have balls enough to, if you're going to change something, stick with it.
And just the editing, the tonal shifts, you could tell it's just a mess. They go to him and he's playing this video game or whatever with all this high tech stuff he presumably invented because he's a tech genius.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, there's none of that carries over. So clearly they changed the whole hacker background.
He cleaned himself up.
Clean yourself up.
and he's like, all right,
God.
I'm going to change my character completely now.
Yeah, I'll cut my hair.
I'm going to clean up completely.
And like you said, just zero character development. I don't remember any dialogue between the Fantastic Four. I don't remember them talking.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I can't tell you a single line.
Not until the end, which is one of my favorite points about this story, is that at the end of the movie, they go to this random institution where they're going to be working. They don't reference what their future plans are, what they're going to be working on. They barely even reference the fact that they're going to be working on anything. Like, we don't know what they're going to be doing. We don't know what like, the Fox announced a Fantastic Four sequel before the trailers for the first one even came out.
It's coming out in 2017, by the way.
Yeah, it's not going to be coming out.
Not anymore?
That's definitely getting canceled for
So
sure.
you guys think it's kaput?
I think it's kaput.
100%.
I don't think that's happening.
Scott, what do you think?
We'll see.
I gave this movie enough
long-term.
faith. I think I'm not giving it anymore.
I can see the actors agreeing to do another one.
No.
Yeah.
Well, part of me thinks maybe that was a marketing strategy. Like, if we greenlight a sequel, everyone will think we think it's really good.
Yeah.
That only works, though, if your movie is good.
Obviously, but they want to trick people.
But then you have to have
care
enough
about
faith
money.
in your movie to screen it for critics earlier than the day of
Let's
or
talk
the day
about
before.
that. They embargoed reviews until the day of release. That's always a red flag for listeners. Just like Google it before you see a movie. If the reviews have been embargoed until day of release, that is the biggest red flag you could ever
They're
do.
literally shooting themselves in the foot.
It just means that Fox didn't think it was a good movie. Like if they thought it was
They're
a good
correct.
if they thought it was a good movie, they would want people to see it early and give good reviews. But they knew that it probably wouldn't get good reviews, that it would probably receive the negative reaction that it is getting right now, and rightfully so. In order to try and save themselves some money, they embargoed the reviews until day of, in the hopes that, you know, people don't see the reviews, so they'll go see it without knowing, and then they'll see a bad movie, basically.
You know what I will say, though? Obviously, I don't like this movie, but I love the cast, and I know that they're all individually very talented. They weren't good in this. They phoned it in or couldn't get along with Trank, whatever the case may be. We know Trank won't be back.
Maybe handcuffed by the script a little bit.
Yes, I did read a rumor that, again, it's a rumor, take it with a grain of salt. This was before the film was out. This was like a week ago, I believe, that Fox has put out an offer to Matthew Vaughn or Bryan Singer to direct the sequel. So if they could right the ship and bring in a legitimate, like, great established director with this cast, like, if they insist on doing a sequel, which who knows now because it made no money also, but if they insist on doing this sequel, I would, like, there's potential with this cast that I think there's a good movie to be made with this cast if you let a Matthew Vaughn or a Bryan Singer do it.
I think that goes back to what Tim said, that I don't think that any of these actors would agree to be coming back.
Now, do we know that they haven't signed on? I'm sure they signed a
They
multi-picture
probably
deal.
signed a contract saying if they do the second movie...
In fact, I guarantee, I'd bet my life they signed a multi-picture deal. There's no way you don't sign a one superhero movie deal.
Yeah. It just didn't... wouldn't
Whether
make sense for
Fox wants to make a sequel or not is another question.
Yeah.
I
But I guarantee they signed on.
I do want to kind of say how you mentioned how the cast is great, and I agree. The cast...
They weren't great in the movie,
Right.
but they are great.
Great
actors
talent.
On their own.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to, one of the main problems I have. I keep saying the main thing. There's a lot of main things that were wrong with this for me, but I just keep thinking of wasted potential.
That's the perfect...
That was your big thing. After
A
we
waste
saw it.
of potential.
Yeah.
You
I
had
couldn't agree
so
more.
much talent involved.
There was so much promise.
And it just fell to the ditch and the side of the road and just crashed and burned. Honestly, that's the main thing I get from it.
I've got another thing that really pissed me off about this movie. The absolute zero comedic aspect of this movie. Like, there was nothing.
Yeah.
Especially the relationship between Johnny Storm and the Thing.
Yeah.
Like, like that kind of always
Shoehorned.
picking on it. Yeah.
Just shoehorned in right at the
At
end.
the
That last
very
scene.
end, it was just like that. They showed a little taste of what the relationship should have been, and that was it. There was zero comedy.
There was no development earlier on to show that they should have that.
No, it just kind of
back and forth. They just threw it in the last scene.
It was brutal.
Yeah, going back to the whole no character development.
Yeah,
but
again.
So, let me ask this. The big question. does this at all worry you guys for Gambit or Deadpool?
No.
Because I think we know X-Men is in good hands, but clearly Fox has some issues with launching new franchises after this debacle.
The way that Fox has been promoting Deadpool, like they've been doing everything right with Deadpool so far. Mm-hmm. Everything leading up to Fantastic Four was terrible.
Which is why it baffles me. Why did they choose to do everything right with Deadpool and fuck up so bad with Fantastic Four?
I think this movie was plagued from day one. I think doing a sequel to this one is a terrible idea. Because your sequel's going to have to build off of this first movie, which is just a very weak foundation. Which, as Scott knows, because he's went to school for this, the weak foundation, everything's just going to collapse around it.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. You're going to have to reboot this again if you're going to want to do a successful series of movies.
I agree.
Which may lead into my little movie that I want to reboot.
Teaser.
One more point here from Tyler.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So you think Gambit and Deadpool are fine?
I think Deadpool for sure is fine. Gambit, I don't think he needs his own solo movie.
Hard to say.
Deadpool is a first-time director. We saw how they bullied Trank. You're not worried they might bully this guy?
I think
seems like they've let him loose with.
I know
with Deadpool. I think it's a little different. I think they're just saying, hey, you know what? The fans they are reacting well to Deadpool, and they're just hands off. Let's just see how it only has a $30 million budget or something like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Super low budget, so I think they're just saying, let's see how it goes.
They held Fantastic Four to like a higher esteem. It was their baby. They wanted to protect it. And Deadpool, they probably don't care as much about. So they're like, yeah, knock yourself out. If it makes money, good. If it doesn't, we barely spent anything on it anyway.
All right. Now, with that, let's segue into the next topic we're going to talk about. The next topic is a superhero movie or related movie that we would like to see rebooted, or also just a dream, director subject kind of combo. Superhero related, of course, that we would like to see in the future. This is like our fantasy kind of draft here.
Been hyped for this one all week, boys.
So, anyone want to start us off with their pick? I think, let's start with Tim.
Tim's super excited about this.
Tim wants to jump in.
Tim's always chomping at the bit.
That's a good one.
Jump in there. Thanks.
Okay,
what would you like to see? What movie series or character would you like to see rebooted?
To our episode, I want to see a good Fantastic Four movie. Now, I'm not partial to these characters. Like I haven't read the comic books. I'm not invested in them. But I think that if you get a good cast, a good director, it could be like a fun. It's got to hit the right tones. Like. So just like some of the characters, what?
You're suggesting that
they
see a reboot of Fantastic Four.
You just listen to my reboot.
From the reboot.
This movie could be everything that the new one was.
In my notes, I have it as Fantastic Four reboot.
Okay.
I love it. I love it.
So,
Requel.
Briefly, just do a cold open to them already in space. They're on like a space station. They get onto their new spaceship that's going to take them off to like a wormhole or whatever. They go into a new galaxy, new dimension, whatever. On board are the 4 Fantastic Four people, plus Victor Von Doom. I'm okay with him being there when they get their powers.
Makes sense.
That's fine with me. That's not how it happens in the comics. They enter in their new galaxy. They're immediately hit by meteors and shit. You find out that it's a planet that's recently been devoured by Galactus.
Ooh. Did you already write a script for this?
Yeah, I have like lines coming up soon.
Okay,
Fox, if you're listening, we found your man.
So amidst the meteor storm, I guess Galactus maybe could have like cosmically powered some of the meteor storms. They freak out, and essentially they wormhole back, but they take one of their rocks back through the wormhole with them, and that can fuck up their machines or whatever, and they get empowered with powers essentially.
Environmentally affect
I'm thinking
them.
Doctor Doom probably gets
like radiation.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
cosmic.
Victor Von Doom gets hurt like he did in this one. Mask explodes, damages his face, so his face gets all scarred up because that's what's supposed to happen to the character. His face gets all like beat up from a failed science experiment, essentially. So that's how the movie opens.
Love it.
Maybe skip ahead a year or so. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. I'm okay with them not figuring out how to do their powers. I kind of want to see them established and kicking ass. But Victor Von Doom's been gone. He's been MIA since they landed back on Earth. He just kind of took off. He actually becomes the leader of a country like he's supposed to do. All the shit. I kind of want to see Sue and Reed already married. So my cast is older. They're not 25. They're They're 40 years old.
I'm pissed off. This sounds so much better.
It's going to
really
sound amazing
wanna
when they get to
see
my
this movie.
cast.
Okay, hit
You
us
guys
with
want
the
to hear my
cast.
cast? Actually,
Hit us
I'll
with
give
the
you
team.
my director first.
Yeah.
My director has already directed the best Fantastic Four movie.
What?
Brad Bird, who directed The Incredibles.
Okay.
Fox, call Tim McGavin.
Get him
please.
doing this movie.
I'm losing it.
Wow.
Written by whoever. Don't really care.
Right. Who gives a
Written
shit?
by
Starring
Tim McGavin.
as
Written by
Reed
Tim McGavin.
Richards, Michael Fassbender,
Mr. Fassbender himself.
Sue Storm, played by Charlize Theron,
Whoa.
Johnny Storm, played by Mr. Ryan Gosling, or
Okay.
God.
I think he might be too big of a star, so I was thinking maybe Anton Yelchin from the Star Trek movies. But I
Very
kind of feel like
different-
Dawson
very
better.
different
I know,
picks
kind of which way you want to go.
Right.
Ben Grimm, played by Joel Edgerton, who is he's in The Gift this coming week. He's in Warrior. He'd only be in it for about 10-15 minutes, and then he just does mocap as the thing for the rest of the movie.
mocap.
And here's a big one. Dr. Doom, played by Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do
He
that.
is the perfect Dr. Doom. He's got
See you later, guys. I'm leaving. This is the best idea I've ever heard.
he's got an accent that fits with like that character from Latveria, which is the made-up country he's from. You get those guys doing this movie, you got a fucking fantastic movie. You've set up the sequel with the Galactus eating the planet, so you can actually have like a proper Galactus-looking guy, not a big cloud from the second movie.
I just have a big grin on my face right now because honestly, that sounds amazing.
I
Scott's
want
got
to
a big
see.
Ben
Sign
Grimm.
me up right now.
I want to see
So
this
one of the
movie.
things I kind of wanted to do was set up why Doctor Doom is so pissed off at the rest of the team. So I was thinking maybe when they
Unlike
get
Fox.
sent through the wormhole, this ship gets damaged. They're supposed to like travel around this new world first, like travel around to like different planets, which Doctor Doom really wanted to do. They get there, ship gets damaged, they can't actually travel. The most they can do is just wormhole back to Earth. So Victor on Doom, it says, "Fuck that! I'm heading outside." He does a spacewalk. It can be all silent and stuff, like Interstellar style, like real shots as much as they can. Reed Richards is like, "Fuck this! Like he shouldn't be out there. You have to come back in. Whatever." He gets hit maybe by a meteor outside, and Reed Richards decides to cut him loose because they think he's dead.
Okay.
Just cuts him loose in space. They wormhole back. He gets sucked in with the wormhole, and then they find them floating, and that's why like he's all pissed because he's like, "You guys freaking just left me to die in the middle of space in a different
Okay.
dimension."
All right.
Maybe like cosmic rocks, so that's why he's got
Probably,
his-
yeah. He probably got like I don't know, something
You,
like that.
you really thought long and hard.
I was
about
up very
how-
late doing this.
How to do a better movie than the one we just saw.
I don't want to give mine now because it's nowhere near as good or as detailed as Mr. McGavick's was.
Tim's pitch was more entertaining than all three Fantastic Four films.
Yeah.
Like, I love this idea.
This is only the first 10 minutes of the movie too.
I got the other like 2 hours here.
Tim,
The cast is unreal, though,
I'm
right?
speechless. That's incredible, Tim. Joel Edgerton as the Thing is like the best thing I've
Yeah, he's
ever
great.
heard.
Like he'd be great.
Now, would you want him in like a full body suit or would you want CGI?
Mocap it for sure.
Okay,
So-
okay.
How about we'll each say like green light or like no? Like we would green light it if we were a studio.
Yeah, if you guys were studio, would you approve my movie?
Greenlit.
Thank you.
Scott says green lit. Adam says green lit twice.
In a heartbeat, I would green light that.
There you go,
so
Fox.
fast.
You
Sign
can find
him
me at up real late. Just tweet me.
All right, who wants to jump in with the next?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
He is Doctor Doom.
We know he's not doing anything right now, so we can just jump right on that.
yeah. Sorry
Low
about
blow.
Sorry, man.
Low
Sorry.
blow.
Sorry, man.
Big Hannibal fan.
Yeah.
But who wants to jump in with their next
I'm shaking
fantasy reboot?
Who dares? Who dares?
You know what? I will.
I'm too scared. I
I'll
can't
jump
follow
in
that.
right now. I will. I've got a. I think I've got a pretty good one.
Go ahead, Tyler.
So-
what's yours?
What I would love to see is I would love to see some sort of a Clint Barton kind of origin story.
Okay,
You know,
Hawkeye.
yeah, like a little bit like maybe he's played by Taron Egerton, and so it's kind of like him learning how to work in the academy, like he's learning how to be like learning the essence of espionage, how to be like a super soldier. Maybe he's a spy in there. I don't know.
Okay,
Okay.
so a young Taron Egerton.
Yeah, a young
Like
a young Clint Barton played by Taron Egerton.
Coming
Right.
from a rough area,
Yeah,
Trying to fit
exactly.
in with all the spies.
Exactly. He wasn't given the same opportunities as everyone else was. So it's about him rising up above that and being better than all of them.
Being trained at some sort of academy?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, obviously he's going to be trained at some sort of academy, right?
Okay.
And so
I follow.
Yeah, and so it's about him. He makes this big giant save, and then he becomes he is Clint Barton. It's like he is Hawkeye.
Okay.
And it's I'm thinking I've got my director already picked out. I'm thinking Matthew Vaughn. I think
Wow.
I know he's
Good choice.
Good director.
I think
Good
he's done amazingly well.
I mean, he did. What's that movie? I mean, you saw it a bunch of times.
What is it?
Kingsman?
Never heard of it.
Kingsman.
Don't know it.
Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Wait.
Doesn't ring any bells.
You just pitched the Kingsman Secret Service, a young Taron Egerton
I have no idea what movie you guys are talking about.
training as a
Does
spy.
your movie idea have an older person that trains?
Oh, of course, we Colin Firth.
Okay.
Obviously.
So a young Hawkeye film where he goes to an academy to learn how to be a spy, played by Taron Egerton, directed by Matthew Vaughn.
I thought we cut you off.
Yeah, fine. All right.
He's found a loophole, guys.
So obviously, I watched The Kingsman to study up for this movie or for this
Wow.
pitch.
For the love
Relapse.
of God. For the love of God. Is
right.
there a real pitch?
I got to back up because I wasn't sure how well you guys would take that one.
Thank
Not
you.
well received.
I've got to back up. What I would like to see is an actual I'd like to see a remake on the Daredevil.
Okay.
I know Netflix did really well with their series.
So a film reboot.
I'd like to see a film reboot.
Because there is no film scheduled as of yet.
No, and
So
to my knowledge, I don't think that there will be because I think that they'd have to follow up the series. I think that they did such a good job. I don't think they'd do a reboot.
Well,
I think it works well as a
technically
TV show.
Yeah.
Technically, that TV series is connected to the Marvel.
Oh, it is.
series.
Yeah,
Oh, it is,
but
yeah.
I don't think it would work as a movie that well.
No, because there's so much more they can so many different kind of scenarios they can use, and so I think that making it into a show was probably the best thing for them.
I just want to say I was very close to doing this. I'm happy I didn't. Holy shit, close one.
Directed by a personal favorite of mine, Guy Ritchie. I think that he's after watching the Sherlock Holmes movies, I think that he's done a lot of work with cities, capturing the essence of the old city, brought down, kind of destroyed a little bit, kind of darker, which I think is perfect for Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
He does a lot of good work with mafia mob movies, which I think would be perfect for the Kingpin.
Yeah.
I not only is he
like it.
one of my favorite directors, I would love to see him direct a Marvel movie.
He shoots pretty good acting scenes. Like the Sherlock Holmes movie has that cool
Slow-mo
fighting slow-mo scene where he's figuring out what to do first, which fits
perfectly with
Yeah.
the character of Daredevil,
Yeah.
who's
with
blind.
he's kind of using his surroundings around him, so kind of slow, I think it would be perfect.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
My casting, I struggled a little bit with finding an actual Daredevil, a lead cast. I was voicing this to Tim, and he suggested Mr. Michael C. Hall. I wasn't entirely on board with it, but then I started looking at possible alternatives, and I did Michael C. Hall kept recurring, and so I was just like, it's kind of growing on me a little bit.
I think that's very good.
I'd be open to suggestions for it, but I think that he would do a very good job.
So Tim comes through with Fantastic Four casting as well as Daredevil casting.
Wow.
Damn.
Tim, I think you're in the wrong line of
Feels
business
good to
here.
be a gangsta.
I also did cast the Kingpin, Mr. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I love his voice. I think that if he did, if he played the persona well, I think that he could. I think that he'd do a good job.
Could he pull off the bald head, though?
That's the thing. I don't know.
Weird.
Well, I don't know. Does he have to be bald? Look at freaking Jesse Eisenberg. Okay, apparently characters don't have to look like what they're supposed to.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know. I think he'd do a very, very good job. The voice, especially.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, big.
He's got a burly kind of voice.
Yeah.
He could be intimidating.
I think he'd do.
So
he'd do a good job.
what's your genre? Is it like an action?
It would be a darker action.
Good crime.
Yeah, dark
street
crime
level.
Yeah, very like I was going to say, it's very very similar to what they've done with the series.
Yeah,
I'm very very happy with what they did with the series.
You've seen it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Good.
Loved
good.
it.
I love it too.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it was perfect, and so it would be very similar to that. But yeah, that would be my dream there.
Okay. Anyone want to?
So wait, we should get for studio. What do you guys think?
Well, since I helped Cast it.
Oh God.
Greenlit. From
Greenlit?
Tim.
Try to remove yourself, Tim.
Mr. Ellis?
I'm gonna greenlit it. I'm gonna greenlight it. Sorry. I just think the director I think is actually a good fit.
Thank you.
With Daredevil, I think it actually makes sense.
Yeah,
So, greenlit.
I have to give it the Adam Studios green light.
Yes, now.
When you said Guy Ritchie, I had to ponder it. But
Right? Yeah, think past that.
when you hit me with Sherlock Holmes, I'm like, shit, that's a good fit.
Yeah.
man. And when you hit me with the, like, he works well with, like, the gangster, mafia-esque crime stuff, it's, I don't know, it's perfect, actually.
So that, and I got to ask you about my Clint Barton origin story. Would you guys greenlight that?
I think there might be some like issues around being sued.
Again,
It might get
Tim,
stuck in development hell. Let's go with development hell in this.
Yeah, I'd put it right in development hell. That's where I'd keep it. If it was coming through Adams, if the script was passed across the desk at Adams Studios, I would read it and just scratch out the title and write Kingsman, and then throw it in a pile with, like, you know, stack this high of other development hell projects.
Oh, okay, fine.
But no, I do greenlight your Daredevil reboot.
Thank you.
All right,
All right, let's move on to Adam.
I'm up to the plate.
Yeah, what's the movie you want to see rebooted, superhero wise?
All right, folks. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this character. Fairly obscure. Mr. Swatolski was trying to fish for some hints out of me earlier, asking if it's Marvel or DC.
Can I guess? Can I get a guess a little bit? Just give me a guess.
Guess.
Is it Aquaman?
No.
No.
Damn it! You said fish.
Is it Namor?
No, fish was not a pun.
Damn! What?
Come on.
You always have puns.
Fish was
On
not
this-
a pun.
On the show, I assumed it was a
What
pun.
have I done?
Thank you.
No,
So many puns,
Like
guys.
the submariner or something like that. That's what I was thinking.
my hint is it's not Marvel or DC.
Ooh. What's the name of those superheroes from SpongeBob? Is it those guys? You know the guys with the invisible car? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh my god,
No.
you guessed it, yes.
Really?
No.
Damn!
Are you kidding me? So, I'm wondering if I should tell the title, then the plot?
Just give us the plot. Give us the rundown. Maybe we'll get an idea.
You might recognize it, you might not. So Al Simmons, known as the world's greatest soldier / assassin, is made a member of a covert ops team that works, you know, out of the public eye for the government after saving the president's life, but soon realizes the ugly truth behind the group's internal dealings. When he tries to quit, his boss sees it as an act of betrayal and has his former partner murder him by burning him alive.
Oh! Okay.
Oh yeah,
Shit.
Timmy knows it.
This is good.
After being burned alive, Al is sent to hell, where he encounters a demon, and the demon makes a deal with Al, who the demon tells him, okay, you can be sent back to Earth to see your wife. And
Is it Scott's?
Oh,
Oh,
no, it's
no.
not.
Okay.
Okay.
But I know what it is now.
Yeah.
okay, we got 3 who know what it is.
How have I not gotten this? Keep going.
So he's sent back to Earth to be reunited with his wife. The demon, being a fucking hell demon, has a very twisted sense of humor. When he sends him back, it's 5 years later. His wife has moved on and remarried, had a child with Al's best friend. Al's also in his current body state, so burned and like mutilated. And he finds out when he goes back to Earth that the demon actually wants him to collect souls and send them back to hell by murdering people. And he's equipped him with, forged from hell suit that gives him invulnerability, gives them the ability to shoot like plasma blasts, I believe, things like this. Turns him into what you might refer to as a hell spawn.
Oh.
That's
How did
right,
I
folks.
not get that?
I'm talking about a Spawn reboot.
oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Now, I love the first one,
Oh, God.
but much like U.S. Marshals, I saw it literally in theaters, which I probably shouldn't have when I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I loved it too when I was, again, 8 or 9. Don't
When
know.
you were like 48 or 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, 48 or 49.
40,
Yeah,
okay,
something like that.
49. I was 8 or 9 years
Yeah,
old.
that's
Thanks,
accurate.
Mom and Dad. Don't know what you're doing. Let me watch it.
Yeah.
Tim being the old man that he is.
And so Al basically spends his superhero career. He turns on the demon and vows to protect Earth and humans. And he goes basically throughout his career fighting, low life criminals and whatnot, and then
The
occasionally
demons
running
and-
into stronger, more powerful demons sent up to him from hell. So I thought the genre could be a mix of a police procedural and like also just a very dark horror, like paranormal feel, because there's two main characters from the Spawn lore that are constantly tracking him. They're detectives. So I thought it could be kind of a balance of, you could see it from the perspective of the police force tracking him.
I think I know who's directing this movie.
And you could also see it from Spawn's perspective. So you've got the cat and mouse game going, psychological like warfare of them chasing each other down, trying to race each other to crime scenes. Spawn with the intent of killing, the crime, like special crimes unit with the intent of, kind of just arresting everyone. So to get to my creative team,
Can I guess your director?
guess the director.
David Fincher.
Oh, he was runner up.
Oh, 7. This
runner-up.
has 7 like themes all over
It's
it.
a director that you're in love with.
Okay.
Who directed True Detective?
Carrie Fukunaga.
Really?
How did I know?
My director.
Damn.
David
I'm
Fincher
pumped.
was knocked off for runner-up. I was very close
Excited.
to going with the Finchmeister.
I've got to say, I'm very excited to hear your cast for this.
Yeah?
Well,
Yeah.
I know who Spawn's going to be.
You think so?
Actually,
Just-
I've been wrong. So let's just
So
Tim thinks he knows who Spawn's going to be.
Carrie Fukunaga showed that he knows how to do a very dark, intimate, personal take on characters, like with Matthew McConaughey's character in True Detective Season 1. And had a lot of fans actually on the forums speculating that maybe there is a supernatural undertone because of all the different cult references and whatnot. So I thought he'd be perfect to do this grimy, almost horror-esque, like street-level crime movie with an actual paranormal demon, like Spawn, going throughout the shadows in the background and whatnot. And the star of my movie starring as Spawn, not a household name by any stretch.
Oh, okay.
It's not who Tim was thinking. I know he was thinking Idris Elba. It's
Yeah.
not Idris Elba.
Who I think would be a great fit.
Yeah.
But
He'd be a good fit, but this guy, he's more of an inspired casting choice. His face and his demeanor and his presence on screen is, to me, terrifying. I think he's like the best guy I could come up with who they could probably also actually get, realistically, because he's not a household name. Character actor, you may not be familiar with him. He was in The Wire and Inherent Vice. Michael K. Williams.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
A bit of inspired
Yeah, yeah,
casting.
yeah.
You guys
I'm
feeling me on this one?
Unfamiliar with him. I have to look him up.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got just the voice, the face. He's actually already got a scarred face, and he just has a real, honestly, terrifying presence. And I just feel like him, just like pummeling a criminal, like in a dark alleyway, and just maybe removing his mask and just looking into his eyes and telling him he's Spawn would just be utterly terrifying.
I think he was in Gone Baby Gone. I could be wrong.
I think he is.
That sounds
Was he a
very,
cop? Was he
very
a cop? He
familiar.
was like a cop.
I'm just picturing Omar from The Wire.
Yeah, is
So I'm
that?
having trouble getting past.
I actually
past
haven't
this,
seen
but-
The Wire. Is that who he plays? Omar?
Yeah, he plays Omar.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, Yep. Yep.
That's him.
Adam is just showing a photo to the rest of us. You'll see it on the screen right now.
He
Yeah.
pops up a lot. He's in Boardwalk Empire as Chalky White.
I
Yeah,
tried to go off
He's
the
in
board.
The Road.
I
Whole
remember
bunch of stuff.
seeing Spawn when I was younger, and I liked some aspects of it. It wasn't the greatest movie, but I think the potential was there.
I totally know him.
And I remember, for some reason, I keep thinking of this game, this arcade game that I played when I was younger. I don't remember where it was, but it was like a Spawn arcade game, and it just really got me into it. And
Was
I
it for
remember seeing
PS1? I loved a Spawn game for PlayStation 1.
it was like actually an arcade game in an arcade.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if it was in Nebs or something like that. But
My brother's a huge Spawn fan. Like, he collected all the comics growing up. So whenever I walk past his room, big Spawn poster on the wall, Spawn
yeah.
toys. I had like Medieval Spawn, which is like a medieval version of Spawn. He had like a horse he rode on and shit like that.
I feel like he was like the superhero of our time, because when I the first thing that I first learned about Spawn was, I'm not sure if you guys remember Pogs.
oh yeah,
Oh, I remember.
I had Spawn.
I had
Spawn was
Spawn
everywhere,
Pogs. So I'd say he was the superhero of our
Kind of like
generation.
an
when we were
anti.
growing
Like
up.
a
Has
nice
anyone seen the
anti-hero.
HBO cartoon
Oh yeah,
series?
I have.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't remember that much from it, but I remember it had an impact on me as a kid. Like, Spawn,
Now-
it just was this really cool, kind of like dark
Yeah.
character. And
different.
when we were younger, it's kind of like a really like morbid curiosity. Like it's kind of like a creepy, like dark character.
Something that was like kind of
people
fresh
were,
to us.
People were drawn to. Kind
Yeah.
of like
I was
gothic.
fascinated by him when I was like, he was actually created the year I was born, 1992. And I don't know, yeah, it was always my older cousins were really into him. He was kind of like a cult character.
Yeah,
like I
sure.
said, neither Marvel nor DC.
ripe for remake. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Overdue.
That's why
I'd
when
say,
it
for
came to
a
my
With these
head.
gritty reboots we keep getting,
Yeah,
this
I
one
know.
doesn't need
This
to be a
one's
great reboot. It's
something
just,
original,
In
you know?
essence, he's a gritty character.
They don't need to turn something that's normal, like happy or like action packed, and turn it gritty. It already
Yeah.
is gritty.
Like-
It's a perfect fit for today's.
And I
day
think,
age movie.
again, Cary Fukunaga would be perfect after what he did with True Detective Season 1. Just balancing police procedural with... He even did a lot of visual psychedelic stuff that was creepy and like horror-esque. Yeah, it'd be rated hard R, also, I should mention.
Yeah.
Nice.
Especially after... I think if Deadpool came out and does really well, I think we could see
Could
a
open
Spawn
the door for
reboot.
more. It could spawn a reboot
Oh, God.
of Spawn.
Damn, Scott, you're good.
I want
puns are
to
good.
keep the kind of topic here. I'm gonna move on to.
Can I get a green light, Scotty?
No.
Can I get
Oh.
some...
Red
We
light
all
this.
greenlit it. Let's be honest.
This is a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Scott Studios.
Greenlit.
Tim Studios.
Greenlit.
Ty Studios.
Oh, Thai Productions.
Ty Productions,
Sorry.
for the love of God.
Sorry, yeah, green light.
You're in. You're all
for
in?
sure. Yeah.
Thank
Expect
you,
the check
guys.
in the mail.
Thank you
and-
so much.
Yeah.
Well, now that we can get to mine, you
Sorry.
might get a little excited about who I picked for mine.
Uh-oh.
Tim.
Tim.
Okay.
I picked another kind of gritty hero who is also joining. This is going to give it away right away.
Okay.
But joining the Daredevil series, series 2,
I came close
which
to
is
picking him.
it's been rebooted a couple times in the movies, but that is the Punisher.
Yeah.
The Punisher needs to be done right, and I think the best guy
Preach.
to do that would be David Fincher.
Okay. Sick.
Oh,
I think-
shit.
It's just for some reason the movies that he does, he brings those damaged characters to life in such a good way, and a lot of like Seven, gritty, and my mind's just going crazy right now. trying to think of the movies that he's done.
Panic Room, Fight Club,
Fight Club.
Seven,
Oh,
The Game,
Fight Club.
Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Zodiac,
Social Network.
Social Network, and Gone Girl.
So, Tim, you're a fan.
The damaged characters.
And Alien 3.
Ooh. We don't talk about
Everyone's
Alien
got a
3.
stinker.
But I think the Punisher as a character, whose family is killed and he goes on his revenge and just basically killing all the gangsters that had a part in it. And I just think that Fincher would be a fantastic fit. And I do want to mention, recently, Fincher was actually working on an HBO series called Utopia with Rooney Mara and Confior. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Yeah.
He's in Riddick. It recently got canceled, basically, like creative differences. It
bad.
just didn't work. So, hey, Fincher's
He's
open
open.
right now. He's
Oh,
free.
Snap.
So,
Maybe
Fincher, if
jump
you
on
hear
the
this.
Punisher train.
David, if you're listening, Scott's got a nice pitch for you.
Yeah, the Punisher. I just think the last couple movies that come out, just mediocre. I mean, mediocre to not so great overall.
Again, it comes back to the movies that we know we saw before we actually saw what comic book movies could be made into. We saw the Thomas Jane Punisher, and it was good for its time, but we now know what movies can be made into. So I think that it done right, it could be infinitely times better.
Yeah, but I think Fincher, he portrays like the underbelly of society really well.
Mhm.
Like I just think of Fight Club, like the violence in there, and also like his cinematography is amazing. I think that would fit perfectly with the Punisher, brutally going after these criminals.
The underground sort of aspect that Fight Club had.
Yeah, like Seven too, like just showing the bad parts of society, and that's pretty much what the Punisher is about. And who I would love to see
Oh.
as the
Right.
Punisher would be, he's kind of hot right now. He's kind of a hot name to pick, but I think recently,
Donald Gleason?
no,
Damn it.
no. My pick is Tom Hardy as the Punisher.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you do.
I mean,
You got to.
there was
You gotta go
some
with that.
rumors about how he would be a really good fit. There were talks about it.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he actually said, "I'd love to."
Yeah,
I believe he literally.
that's where it
said, "I'd love
started.
to." Yeah.
Someone asked him, "Hey, how would you feel about playing the Punisher?" He was like, "Totally, I'd be totally down to play the Punisher."
You look at like his characters like Charles Bronson, who's just like a pure maniac.
Unhinged.
I mean, Punisher's not like that crazy, but like that violent. He could totally be. He'd be great.
and
Channel
just
that.
seeing Legend.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen the trailer for Legend, he's playing twins. One is a little bit more, stable, and the other one is kind of off his rocker. The two twins, and that's kind of I like how he can switch like on the dime like that as an actor, and I think that kind of strong silent type he plays well, like in Mad Max, and I think the Punisher is that kind of determined, very focused person who just is, whatever his goals are, he's just going to go right for it. And I think Tom Hardy plays those roles very well. And I think, him working with Fincher, I just think this would be a good fit for the Punisher series. And I think that we would actually get finally an actually successful Punisher movie that people want to see. And I would definitely want to see it R as well.
Yeah.
Like your series there, Adam, for sure, and Spawn. I think that I would like to see more R-rated movies. I think this would definitely have to be it. So, yeah.
I agree. That one was pretty close to runner-up. I was Daredevil and Punisher were both heavily considered, so I'm happy I didn't pick those.
Yeah. All right. Would you guys greenlight or
Tim Studios would greenlight this movie.
Thai Productions, absolutely.
All right.
Adam Studios, no way. It's just not in the budget, man.
It seems way out there.
Yes, we would.
200 mil budget.
We
minimum.
Minimum.
You're out the door, Tim. How much for that Fantastic Four movie?
What
Can
do
we
you
do it
guys
for
want to pay
50
me?
mil?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
I got $20 in my pocket.
I mean,
Tim.
45 of that is going to go to Payne's salaries.
All right. With that, let's just.
Any less, and I sell the rights to Fox.
With that, let's just touch on the one news story that broke this week. Sony Pictures released their lineup for the next couple years of big movies that they're going to release. So let's just talk about a couple of those. Some of the ones that stand out for me is Ghostbusters next year, which you guys may know, starring, among many, Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig,
Leslie Jones, Kate McKinnon.
yeah, who actually just announced today Bill Murray is actually going to appear. So that's kind of nice. Also, the Magnificent Seven remake, big cast there. Underworld 5. I don't know if you guys are excited about the Underworld series.
No.
The Underworld series just kind of like I seemed like I'd be very excited for it. Then to me it just kind of was unmemorable. Like it was.
I'm actually surprised they're making another one.
Yeah.
To be honest. But yeah, also Passengers, a little sci-fi movie that's coming out in 2016, starring Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. Basically, Chris Pratt. I think it's kind of like Avatar, how they're in like stasis on a long trip through space. Pratt gets woken up mid trip, and then he wakes up Jennifer Lawrence. So it's kind of that's pretty much all we know.
Is this a comedy or is it like a?
I think it's straight sci-fi.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
interesting movie to keep your eye
Again,
out for
Chris
for
Pratt
sure.
going against his
mean-
usual role there.
Yeah, and Tim does have a soft spot for sci-fi movies, so
Yeah.
I'll be down for this one.
Definitely
Yeah,
potential there.
Should be interesting for sure. And also a remake of Jumanji, the classic movie starring Robin Williams. You guys think a Jumanji movie can work? I mean, is it going to be an online game, not a board game? Like, how is that going to work? Are they going to update it for today, or like? I'm not
I think
sure.
part of what made that movie so amazing was Robin Williams. You know, just like his character, like it's just like him as a character. You know, like the amount of effort he put into this, like his character and whatnot. Like that's what made the movie so amazing to me.
It's going to be interesting to see who they
Yeah.
cast. For
I think
sure.
a sequel would make more sense because at the end of Jumanji, like the game gets lost again. I think it'd make more sense just tailor it as a as a sequel instead of like a remake.
Yeah.
They can make it like a horror movie too. Like,
Yeah,
there's a
you
lot
could
of
go like
different
super
ways.
dark on it.
There were
Yeah.
parts of it that were almost like a horror
You could do like an
Yeah,
online
seriously.
version, so it's like Tron style. Like
Yeah.
there's different some weird ways you could go with this.
Yeah,
Cast
yeah.
Olivia Wilde,
Tron, yeah,
sure.
that's interesting for sure. Also, Tim, I think you'll get a little excited about this movie. The Dark Tower actually has a release date,
Oh.
2017.
Yeah.
Stephen King
Yeah.
written series.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this, Tim?
I'm on and off with this one. There's the book of the series of books. It's 7 books, so it's a huge series. Tons of stuff goes on. It's part Western, part sci-fi, part horror, part like post-apocalyptic. There's a whole bunch of ground to cover. I personally would rather see it as a HBO series.
So you could do more with it, right? Like you could
Yeah,
actually break it up.
kinda like
into
Game of
how-
Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, how it's
Which I know
deserved.
they've been bouncing back and forth of doing like the first one as a movie and then doing like the next 2 books as a TV show and then doing like another standalone movie as part of a book and then they keep doing it. Ron Howard's been tied to this project for a while now. I don't know if he's still attached to it or not. So it'll be interesting to see
The
how they
director's
decide to
been
handle.
announced.
Oh, who's directing this?
I think it's I'm not sure if he's Danish, but a director who directed Mads Mikkelsen in a couple movies. I think. I think he
Tobias
did a
Lindholm?
Royal Affair or something like that.
Interesting.
We'll have to fill you guys
I'll
in
I'll
on
look
check
that
the memory bank.
So it'd be interesting to see how they handle all the material.
because it's pretty expansive.
It's huge. It's
work,
a huge
so-
universe. Yeah.
How do you start that off and try not to make it seem like you're trying to lead into another series
Yeah.
and try and lead into
I know
series of
the
movies?
TV series idea was part of the Ron Howard regime. So
Yeah,
I'm
where
sure that's.
I
out
know
the
Ron
window.
Howard wanted to do part movies, part TV series.
That's definitely out the window now that he's left.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
I hope that's a terrible idea.
Also on the list here is Resident Evil 6, which just meh for me.
That's another movie where like completely missed opportunity because the Resident Evil like first 4 games have an awesome storyline. They could have just like followed that storyline a little bit closer and done it as like a smaller horror movie, but they've gone way too big with these movies, way too long. No one even watches these things.
It's like a B movie now, honestly. But
Gotta say, Resident Evil series, huge guilty pleasure of mine.
yeah,
Huge guilty pleasure. But I've got to say, the last couple have not been impressed with.
Okay.
I'd say the first 2, third, first 2, absolutely loved them because they were very similar, like story wise. I know they took a lot of aspects from the games. I think they did very well with that. But the last couple, they were just not so good. This last one, I have some faith in it.
okay.
Hopefully they finish this. It's supposed to be the last one. Hopefully they finish this off right.
Also on the list, maybe the biggest news of this, the fact that Bad Boys 3 has a release date 2017, and also Bad Boys 4 in 2019.
What?
I mean, what? They haven't even officially announced, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence as returning either. So, wow. You guys excited about Bad Boys? I mean, we're
Do we
going to get
know-
Michael Bay back.
I literally don't care about a single movie so far.
Yeah.
Not one.
Do we know if this is going to be a reboot or a continuation?
No news so far. The only
Nothing
thing
yet,
that's been
eh?
announced has been the titles and the dates.
I think the 3 and the 4 would insinuate it's a sequel.
It's a sequel? Yeah.
I think the movie you'll be most excited for, Adam, is the Barbie movie, which is coming out in 2017.
That is the most exciting name thus far.
Yeah. Let's just
Moving right
let's just skip
along,
over that.
Yeah, Sony, you're really hitting it out of the park with these IPs.
There's a couple other ones that they mentioned. One is the Uncharted movie, which has kind of been in development hell for a while. Could be good, kind of an Indiana Jones. It's a video game that they're turning into a movie. So we'll see how that goes. And also Baby Driver, which is directed by Edgar Wright, the next Edgar Wright film. So that should be interesting
Okay,
to
I'm
see.
intrigued. What is this? What is
Um,
Baby Driver?
Basically, I'm trying to remember the cast. I think it's Ansel Elgort and Lily. Oh, what's her name?
Tomland?
Is it?
No, she was Cinderella. Name is escaping me
Okay.
right now.
Yeah. I don't know her name either, but
The
yeah,
actress,
pretty
the
good.
main actress
the
who
latest one?
played
Okay.
Cinderella in the latest Disney remake.
Okay.
She's in it, and
Do we have a plot?
I don't know too much about the plot, to be honest.
I think Ansel's like a getaway driver. I
Something
think
like that,
I
yeah.
heard.
Right? Yeah.
If it's Edgar Wright, I'll see it. That's pretty exciting.
There's one other movie which I do want to mention that it kind of intrigued me, called Money Monster, starring George Clooney and Julia Roberts, and also Jack O'Connell, who was in 71, who we reviewed a couple weeks ago. Basically, it's a story of George Clooney is basically a TV personality who gives financial advice. I know there's a couple of channels out there where they just, they're all in the stocks giving advice about what people should invest in, and he's one of those hosts. And basically, Jack O'Connell's character takes him hostage because he loses a bunch of money on George Clooney's advice, and he takes the host hostage. I'm not sure if it's on live TV or what, but it sounds kind of interesting. It's kind of an interesting plot.
Again, potential, something there.
So that's the Sony lineup for the next couple of years. Should be interesting to see how that shapes up. But I think that'll do it for this episode, number 6 of the Up Real Late podcast. So yeah.
You can find us on Twitter at UpRealLate. You can email us at upreallate@gmail.com, and you can follow our website, upreallatepodcast.wordpress.com.
You can follow me, Tyler, on Twitter at Mogey, MOGEY6.
You can find me, Adam, on Twitter at Franey25. That's at FRANEY25. I'm also on letterboxd.com. Upreal Adam, one word. Real spelt like a movie reel, like the title of the
podcast. You can find me at S_Ellis71 on Twitter. And yeah, until next time, guys, keep it real. See you guys next time.
See ya. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.